And South America, at the hub of the Caribbean islands, lies Puerto Rico. And 1,000 miles southeast of Miami. In size, Puerto Rico is just a little smaller than Connecticut, and about 3 times as large as Rhode Island. A land of spring-like climate, green mountainsides, fertile coastal plains, and palm-fringed beaches, it was discovered by Columbus in 1493. With him was Ponce de Leon, who returned in 1508 with settlers and became the first governor. Through the years, the island became known as Puerto Rico, which means rich harbor. Of great strategic importance as a port of call for Spanish galleons, carrying wealth from the New World, it was heavily fortified during the succeeding centuries. Coveted by other nations for its commanding position in the Caribbean, it was attacked again and again by French, Dutch, and English forces, but never permanently taken. And with the ebb and flow of time, its exciting history grew. In 1898, Puerto Rico became a part of the United States, and the old world charm accumulated through the years still lingers, enriching this beautiful island with the wealth of romance, color, and fascinating tradition. But today, modern Puerto Rico is building a new and even more exciting tradition. A dynamic 20th century picture is being drawn with bold strokes of steel and concrete, a striking picture of modern industrial progress. This dynamic movement, the industrialization of Puerto Rico, began under the leadership of Governor Muñoz Marín.
Puerto Rico realized that the centuries of agricultural poverty and unemployment could only be overcome by broadening the economy to include a large measure of industrial development. In order to accomplish this, incentives had to be set up to attract capital, industry to Puerto Rico.
Wanting to keep the pride and fine traditions of their land intact, Puerto Ricans, working with the government of the United States, achieved Commonwealth status, which permanently and voluntarily associated Puerto Rico with the United States. This advance created a sound, stable political status, which is both reassuring and attractive to investors. Puerto Rico had already functioned under a democratic form of government for many years, which was ideally suited to Commonwealth status. It is based upon a stable body of law, a bicameral legislature subject to regular popular elections, and all the recognized institutions which identify American state government at its best. Puerto Ricans enjoy the rights and privileges of American citizenship, as well as the great pride that comes from being a true American. No group in the history of the United States has ever fought more valiantly for their country than did the Puerto Rican 65th Infantry Regiment in Korea. Puerto Rico, the same familiar United States post office window dispenses the same United States stamps, which are paid for with the same United States dollars and cents. There is no red tape of foreign exchange. Puerto Rico is also considered a part of the 2nd Federal Reserve District for the purposes of check clearance and collections, which are carried on at par. The banking and credit structures are the same as those in the continental United States. There are 7 Commonwealth chartered commercial banks in Puerto Rico, and in addition, there are also branches of 2 outstanding continental United States banks and 2 Canadian banks. Commercial transactions of all kinds between Puerto Rico and other parts of the United States are arranged just as those between, say, Texas and New York. There is no more difficulty in traveling or moving freight from the United States to Puerto Rico than from San Francisco to Chicago. There are no tariffs or customs, and goods and citizens move with perfect freedom through the most modern facilities, both air and maritime, which are administered by the Puerto Rico Ports Authority. Air service is by 9 leading scheduled airlines, already handling over 1 million passengers a year. Shipping is by 8 lines, operating American flagships under the United States coastwise shipping laws. Actually, Puerto Rico is much closer to the big eastern centers of population than many of the western states. Thus, Puerto Rico is a solid, well-governed, progressive, integral part of the United States, fully prepared to play its role in the expanding American economy. This free access to the wealthy and vast United States market provides a 2-way highway of commerce, benefiting both Puerto Rico and the United States. For while Puerto Rico markets 95% of its products on the continent, it also purchases more U.S. goods per capita than any other area outside the continental United States. But unlike the rest of our great land, Puerto Rico had relatively few natural resources, such as iron, coal, or petroleum. This led to an economy based almost entirely on agriculture. Today, agri continues to flourish as a vital factor in the strength of modern Puerto Rico's well-balanced economy. But in past years, this one base economy inevitably created problems. Work opportunities in Puerto Rico were limited, and those able to find employment received low compensation, which resulted in inadequate standards of living. But the progressive Puerto Rican government knew that this labor pool could be converted to Puerto Rico's greatest natural resource by broadening the economy with industry. The Puerto Rico Planning Board was set up early in the 1940s to see that the resources of the local government would be used efficiently for economic growth and to raise the level of living of the people. This board is also responsible for the actual development of the physical aspects of Puerto Rico, and its overall operation has been so successful that it has become a model for many countries of the world. At the same time, the Economic Development Administration was organized under Teodoro Moscoso to bring about the amazing industrial transformation.
By inducing industry to come to Puerto Rico, our great labor pool has been utilized and progress has inevitably followed. The major inducement being offered by the government of Puerto Rico to attract industrial capital has been complete corporate tax exemption for a period of 10 years. Although a Commonwealth of the United States, Puerto Rico is not covered by the federal income tax law.
This marvelous opportunity to build operating capital and plant investment is unequaled in any other field of American industrial operation. To implement the actual process of industrialization the Puerto Rican Industrial Development Company was created. It is the operational arm of the Economic Development Administration. PRIDCO, as it is called, selects the proper factory sites that will integrate with overall community plans and purchases them. In many cases, it actually constructs plant buildings of types with wide and desirable utility before any specific business has requested them. It even trains prospective employees in specialized techniques in order to create a skilled labor pool for a particular new industry. To still further facilitate the expansion of the economic development program, the Government Development Bank for Puerto Rico was created, with offices and facilities in both Puerto Rico and the financial centers of New York. Jose Noguera, the Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico, is the chairman of the board, and Dr. Rafael Picó, formerly Secretary of the Treasury and for 13 years head of the Planning Board, is president.
This public corporation aids in the financing of plant construction and makes long-term loans on equipment and machinery. The bank also acts as fiscal agent for the government of Puerto Rico, its various authorities and municipalities, in the issuance of bonds.
These bonds enjoy complete freedom from not only federal, but also state and local income taxes. And it is important to note that there has never been a default on any bond issue in the history of Puerto Rico. In this function, the bank plays a vital part in providing necessary modern utilities, so essential to the turning wheels of industry, which are spinning Puerto Rico ever forward to higher standards of living and productivity. To keep them turning, abundant power is essential, and to meet this need, the Puerto Rico Water Resources Authority has constantly improved services and capacity under the direction of S.L. Descartes, a former Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico, and his staff.
This organization is known as the Puerto Rico Water Resources Authority. It started as a hydroelectric enterprise. As demand grew, we had to produce more steam generation, and we have established steam plants ahead of critical demand in order to be able to serve the needs of industry, commerce, and residential uses in Puerto Rico.
The authority has kept pace with all equipment and facilities necessary for the modern generation and distribution of power and light. Year after year, the distribution centers, substations, and transmission lines have marched steadily and surely across the land, creating a constantly growing network of service, which not only includes the major centers, but through rural electrification, reaches every corner of the island. The authority can proudly say that hundreds and hundreds of new plants have been established in Puerto Rico without delays or inconveniences because of lack of power. Nor has it ever been necessary to curtail service in any way, even at the greatest peak loads. Naturally, the amazing industrialization program has created great interest all over the world. Yet, side by side with this development, another tremendously important change has quietly but surely taken place. Since 1940, the life expectancy in Puerto Rico has risen from 46 years to 68 years, and the death rate has declined dramatically from 17 to 7 per thousand. This remarkable life-giving achievement is, of course, largely the result of progress in health and sanitation, without which a truly happy and abundant life can never be achieved. This outstanding progress has been made under the leadership of the Commonwealth Aqueduct and Sewer Authority, which is directed by Rafael Urrutia and his associates.
The authority makes certain that Puerto Rico will always have all the water needed, an abundant supply of low-cost water which meets the United States Public Health Service standards is provided for every community in the Commonwealth.
The authority also maintains a vigorous program of expanding sewage collection lines, which reach out day by day, bringing health and cleanliness through the utilization of new sewage disposal facilities and modern treatment plants. Modern highways, too, are receiving concentrated attention, for they are the lifelines of industry as well as of community development. But progress in Puerto Rico is a thing of tomorrow as well as today. There are 4 fine universities, and great emphasis is placed on the entire school system, for the future lies in the hands of the young generations. To ensure a solid basis for continued progress, fully 28% of the budget dollar of the Commonwealth is spent for education. This is indeed an investment in progress that could only be made by a forward-looking government, and one that cannot fail to pay important dividends in the years to come. Naturally, along with the wonderful advances, some of the old stubborn problems are still present. As in all parts of the world, the universal problem of slums exists. Yet this slum problem, too, is being courageously attacked on many fronts. Low-cost housing is steadily reducing the slum areas. While the federal and Commonwealth governments are leading the way with financing, private institutions have also entered the field. Do-it-yourself projects, in which a group of families all work together to build each other's new homes on good, low-cost land, work out well with industrious Puerto Ricans. In fact, Puerto Rico is proving a leader in this age-old fight. And under the Point 4 program, visitors from such areas as the Near and Far East and Latin America, and from such distant countries as Pakistan, Ghana, and Liberia are studying these methods and find results. Also in the field of housing, as in all expanding American communities, there are thousands upon thousands of first-class, privately financed homes constantly springing up. The simple fact is that there is no problem, no field of endeavor that the dedicated, capable Puerto Ricans are afraid to tackle, and confidence breeds success. How well they are succeeding can perhaps best be shown by cold, unglamorized facts. First, the division of the budget dollar. At present, only 2.8 cents of every dollar are absorbed by the public debt. Protection of persons and property takes 8 2/10%. Agricultural and industrial development, roads, bridges, and the like, account for another 17 9/10%. Education, health, and welfare receive a whopping 51 2/10%, while all the other functions of government cost only 19 9/10%. A truly remarkable and outstanding division of the public funds in the public interest. Now, let's look at the success of the Commonwealth itself. The gross product of Puerto Rico has experienced a dramatic increase, and a percentage comparison of growth relative to the overall growth rate of the United States is revealing. School enrollment, both public and private, has shown a steady gain. Electric energy consumption has shown massive and continuing gains. The industrial production index, which includes production of plants established by local and outside enterprises, shows a persistent upward trend from 1952, when it was first prepared. Like everything else of Puerto Rico, commercial bank loans, demand deposits, and savings accounts show a constant rise, as do new fixed investments in plants, equipment, housing, roads, schools, and other public works. The confidence that all this sound and amazing progress inspires is perhaps best indicated by the continued growth of investment from external sources. Americans have always been quick to admire sincere effort and accomplishment, and they are also quick to back it with their investment dollars. Of course, tourists and visitors have been coming to Puerto Rico in ever-increasing numbers, because one of the simplest reasons for the inevitable success and prosperity of Puerto Rico is that it is a delightful place to live and work, unsurpassed in climate and beauty by any of the famous resort areas of the world. Is already a major industry and growing rapidly, with new resort hotels under construction and many in the planning stages. Actually, Puerto Rico is unique. It still has all the romance and glamour of its exciting history. For example, city manager Doña Felisa Rincón de Gautier, who was honored in 1954 as Lady of the Americas, serves San Juan with an old world grace and charm. Yet these colorful facets are backed up by a government and an economy with the security and strength of the United States and its modern way of life. Puerto Rico has found its road to rapid economic development and is following it steadfastly toward a good civilization. Operation Bootstrap has amazed the world, as Puerto Ricans, rather than ask for economic aid, have worked to create their own prosperity and success. And the true foundation of its greatness is in its people and their inherent qualities of strength and dedication to the free way of life, their creative imagination, their courage and integrity. Today, progressive Puerto Rico is indeed a rich harbor, rich in colorful history and tradition, rich in climate and scenic beauty, rich in recreation, health, and fine medical facilities, rich in good living, and rich in complete religious freedom and freedom from prejudice and intolerance of all kinds, rich in educational opportunity for the leaders of the future, rich in sound, stable, progressive government, determined to foster advancement in every worthwhile field of human endeavor, rich in a great labor pool of intelligent American citizens who are eager to learn and work for their personal advancement and for their country, rich in the finest and most modern public utilities, rich in opportunity for industry, and rich in the investment opportunities of an expanding and industrializing economy. Yes, the old, bold adventurers chose even better than they knew when they named this pleasant island Puerto Rico. For the very name itself was a prophecy. Today, modern Puerto Rico has already progressed far beyond anything imagined. And in the years to come, this land of opportunity simply cannot fail to continue its amazing progress and become an ever richer and richer harbor.